Welcome girls to this flipped video in which I'm going to very quickly work through an example of what a strong historical paragraph might look like to you. And I like this technique. Someone once said to me, students really want to know what a good one looks like. And so what this video is really setting up for you is what a good paragraph for an assignment type task might look like. So let's have a look at a mock-up of a task now, and you'll have this in your OneNote. So most assignments, most exam tasks and so on look a little bit like this sheet. So you're presented firstly with a task at the top that you have to attack. And something I'm pointing out here straight away is a lot of the time you think, as that little diagram shows, that success is this nice, neat, straight line. But actually the path to success is pretty messy. There's a lot of steps. Sometimes you're going to be lost and confused in a tangle in the middle, and that's okay. See that as part of the process. Don't let it throw you. So, how do we break it down so we don't get lost in that tangle? First step when you get a task like this is find the task. Find what you're expected to do and highlight it. So in this particular case, the task is at the top nicely labelled and it says use the sources, analyse them in order to, keywords, explain the social hierarchy of the ancien regime and how that hierarchy was an important factor that led to revolution. Right, so we've got to know what the social hierarchy was, we've got to know what the ancien regime was, and we need to think about how it was one of the causes, one of the origins of the revolution. Okay, what do we do next with a task sheet like that? The next thing you do, as I've said to you before, is don't let your eye be distracted straight away to the first things you see. Take a moment to actually look at the captions for the sources you're given. They give some clues as to what's above them. So just about every student I know immediately is drawn to the images if there's an image, and often will go straight into trying to make sense of a passage of text written perhaps by someone a long time ago without actually realising what it is. So, as soon as you identify the captions, figuring out what you're looking at, go to the next stage, and that is analysing the sources. And this is where we start to highlight and annotate what we want to see in the sources. If you need to, that's when you research. So in this particular case of the etching that we may have seen in class at this point, I start drawing on it straight away and I'll go, all right, important is the crown, a guy in armour, a bishop, a commoner supporting what seems to be a weight that's pressing down him. I'll draw on it and write on it as much as I wish. I'll also start highlighting keywords, that it's an illustration. It's showing a relationship between the three estates. Then I'll go picking through the longer text, looking for phrases, words to use. What phrases might suit, what information might suit to be used as evidence within my paragraph. Now remember, as you're looking at this video, stop, pause, have a look, think about the decisions I've made in that process already. The next stage is drafting. Now, I can't go and write a paragraph anymore like I was in grade 9. So I'm going to apologise straight away that this is the kind of paragraph I would write. Scarily for some of you, the language in here is pretty good and it's kind of a first draft for me. I think there's some ways I could improve this, but we're operating at the level of you being a student, me being a teacher. But let's use the example paragraph I've got here, and you'll get a version of it in your OneNote. Let's look at now some of the rules of writing it. Firstly, when you're writing a paragraph, make sure you're writing in third person. No I or you, or as you can see, you're writing as if you're distant from the event, so third person. Secondly, because it's history, you're usually writing in past tense. These are events that have happened. So don't slip into what's speaking as if things are still happening now or they're going to happen in the future. Proofreading is part of the process. Proofread, proofread, proofread. Look for the spelling errors. Don't just rely on Word to figure these little errors out. Edit, cut, change the wording, add words in, find the right words, get the right terms. Reference it, very, very carefully. Okay? Draft, draft, and draft again. And then think, this paragraph should follow a structure. And that's the next video that I'm going to work through with you. Let's look at the structure of a paragraph. So, we'll leave that with you for a moment.